Welcome to Man That's Cooking! In this video, we're going to show you how to make London Broil. So this is an easy recipe to make. It's all about the marinade, and the way that you cook it after marinating is really up to you because you can actually broil it. You can put it on the grill if you want to barbecue it. And you've got some options, but it's really the marinade that makes the flavor happen. So first you want to mince 2 garlic cloves. You don't want to use any of that garlic in a jar. I mean, if you want to, that's up to you, but your family's not going to be happy. Next we're going to add a ½ cup of olive oil. And by the way, all these ingredients for every video that we have are in the description of the video. You can click the description, and they're at our website, manthat'scooking.com. Next, you want to add a ½ cup of Worcestershire sauce, followed by a ½ cup of soy sauce. And if you want to use the low sodium, if you're watching your blood pressure, go for that. Next, you want to add 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, followed by 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Hey, quick tip, if you want to print out this recipe with the directions, check out our website, manthat'scooking.com. You can print from there. Next, we're going to add a ½ teaspoon of kosher salt, or you can use whatever coarse salt. It doesn't have to be religious salt in any way, or blessed salt. Followed by a ½ teaspoon of black pepper, then a ½ teaspoon of onion powder, and we're going to spice it up a little bit with a ½ teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and then you want to mix it all together. And you know what? This is not mixing very well, so let's get out the power tools right here. So if you have an immersion blender, and by the way, these are cheap, so you should have one. I mean, they can get expensive, but there's also cheap ones, and that's what Man has, and they're easy and handy. Alright, so we've got our top round London Broil here, and what we're going to do is we're going to put it into a zip seal bag, and we're going to marinate it in this delicious marinade. You want to marinate this overnight in your refrigerator. Overnight means anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. Don't go past 24, it's going to be probably too much. You won't like the results. And once you get it in the bag, try to get all the air out, and then swoosh the marinade all around. Get it all over your meat. Now, Man here messed up. There's one step we wanted to show you before the marinade step, and that's a tenderizing step. So, Man's going to take this back out of the bag here. We should have shown you this first, but this cut of meat tends to be a little bit on the tougher side. There's very little fat, so if you can, try to tenderize it a little bit by poking some holes in it. And you can either use a fork, or you can buy this contraption. It's called a jacari. It's not too much, and it's handy for other things like steak, and it just punctures the meat. And puncturing the meat will make it more tender. So tenderize both sides, and then put it back into the marinade bag, and then put it back into the refrigerator. And also, now that you've got these holes poked in there, the marinade can penetrate a little bit deeper into the meat and give it a little more flavor. Alright, it's the next day, so we're going to spray down a roasting pan with some Wagyu beef fat, and then we're going to add the beef. So here's where things are going to vary depending on what oven you have, electric, gas, how well your broiler actually works. Consult your user manual. That's where it actually had a measurement for cooking beef and how many inches away from the broiler that you should have your beef. But typically you're looking at using the rack in the topmost or the second to the topmost position. Then set your broiler on high or 500 degrees Fahrenheit and cook this roast for 3 to 5 minutes per side. Alright, so you can see here that this roast here is not getting brown. We've done the proper cook time. We're getting close to the internal temperature, the desired internal temperature of 135 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's actually a common problem for this particular model of oven to have some broiler issues. If you have the same problem, this is your quick fix right here. You could take a cast iron skillet. You could put that skillet on a burner on medium to medium high, spray down a little bit of fat onto that skillet, and then you can brown it on all sides, and you could keep checking the temperature with a temperature probe, and then, you know, pull it when it gets close to 135. Now, whether you've pulled it straight from the oven and it looks good, or you've needed to use this method here in the frying pan, either way, you want to let it rest for about 5 minutes. That's going to let the juices settle, and it's going to keep them from pouring all over your cutting board when you're slicing it. So give it a good rest for 5 minutes, and then slice in. Alright, so let's take a look at what we've got here. Looks like it's probably going to be a medium, and it's got a little pink. Looking yummy, looking juicy. And that browning phase in the skillet is going to add some additional flavor. And that marinade, any of the juices of the marinade that are outside on the surface are going to actually get browned, and that's going to add some flavor. Now we're getting a little thicker in the slice there, but still looking good. And hey, that's not too bad. So again, this is a lean meat. It's going to be a little tough. It's notorious for being a little tough. But that's because there's not much fat. And that's heart healthy. Yay! Alright, so just for fun, we're going to show you a additional alternative way of making a London broil in the oven. So we're starting with a cast iron skillet that has been warmed up in the oven while the broiler was getting up to temp. And we're going to cook one side here. We're going to check the temperature, and we're not quite there to 135 yet. So we're going to go ahead and flip this over and put it back in the oven for a little bit longer. Alright, same as before. It's going to be about 3 to 5 minutes per side. And then take it out and check the temperature range once again. And we're shooting for 135 degrees Fahrenheit, and you want to take a reading on various places. You definitely want to probe this in multiple spots, kind of like your uncle every time he claims he was abducted by aliens. Okay, we're going to cover this meat and let it rest for at least 5 minutes. And meanwhile, what we're doing here is we're boiling for at least 5 minutes the marinade juices that were in the zip seal bag. And we're going to show you how to quickly make a cream sauce out of this using the leftover brown stuff that's at the bottom of the skillet. So all that brown stuff, that's goodness, and that's flavor. And this will help the cleanup process if you actually scrape it all off and incorporate that into a sauce. So this is going to need roughly a quarter cup to a half cup of half and half. If you have whipping cream or heavy whipping cream, that'll work too. And you're just going to need to eyeball it based on how much marinade you had left over and what's left after boiling it for 5 minutes. And by all means, you need to boil it for at least 5 minutes. Who knows what little microbes and dangerous little beasts are swimming around in this marinade after you've left this in the refrigerator overnight with raw meat. You don't want to ingest that. Alright, so after resting, we're going to slice into this one. So this one seems a little bit more tender. And it's got roughly the same, like, cooking doneness and color, pinkish color. But you can see there, it seems a lot more tender. So there you go, that's the second way of making it. And check out the sauce. The sauce is the boss. It is delicious. So hey, thanks for watching this video. Check us out at manthat'scooking.com. You'll find other recipes there that you might want to make, just like this one. Click like, click subscribe. Make this at home and tell us how it turned out. Thanks for watching.